kind of like went but so far. Having faith, reading and praying went but so far, but obedience is everything. And then like spirit of discernment is a gift. So instead of like ignoring the gifts that I actually have through the Holy Spirit, by the grace of God, I want to facilitate that for real.
Hey, welcome back to Black Press. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Now let's get to it.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm your girl Trish.
I'm your boy, Mr. Define.
And we are
Black Press.
If this is your first time watching, please remember to hit like, comment, share, and
Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications for all future episodes. So, JD was talking about this horrible R&B. They say R&B is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't coming back. Rest in peace to every R&B artist except SZA and he didn't say that part, but and Usher, pretty much. Who else?
Rihanna.
Beyonce. They don't. That's not R&B. They're pop. They're pop.
A little bit.
Who else? It's really nobody else. Her.
Keisha Cole.
No, she ain't been out in forever.
She's trying.
Anyway, JD had his comments. He wanted to talk about it.
Youth of today do not go to church, and they don't have that church band and grooming. Like B. Cox came from the church, right?
Right.
Jodeci comes from church. Like, so when you listen to that soul, that soul that you think is soul, that's coming from over there. It's an added piece of information that if you're gonna make these records, it's hard to beat Jodeci when you don't have that element. You don't have, you know what I mean? You don't have that soul. You don't have that. That's an element. So it's like when people be saying, "Yo, music ain't the way it used to be." Like I just posted my new Anthony Hamilton record is coming out October 4th. Queen, right? Yeah. Anthony Hamilton comes from the church. Like you're not gonna get that's in his voice. Yeah. You ain't just getting that from being on the internet. That ain't getting ready to happen.
You're right.
Yeah. He is. But why do you say he's right?
Because, like, if you think about, I mean, like, look at Faith Evans. She sings phenomenally. Yeah. She grew up in church. Yeah. Anybody else? Tamar Braxton. Yeah. She grew up in church. All those people. It has like it's soul music. So it has to have soul.
There's a real reason for this. And the real reason is because that's what our ability to sing is supposed to be designed for. Like the original, and this is why it's so easy for artists to be caught up in the debauchery, because music and song and praise and worship, that's where the best singers. Whitney Houston came from the church.
Yes, yeah.
I think might have been Mariah Carey too. But the music is supposed to be and was designed technically by God for it to be for praise and worship.
Yeah. Listen to this. Every time I sit on the stage, everybody praise me.
Wow.
And
you want to redirect it?
Yeah. I don't want to fall like how I don't want to fall. Like
well, I'm going to stand with you.
How like that angel fell.
Yeah, you're not. You got a support around you.
I'm talking about like just not listening.
Yeah.
And like honoring. I feel like how the first curse happened was when Lucifer, he was built with all the instruments in his body.
Right.
He was probably the brightest angel in heaven at that time.
Yes.
Conducting heaven. And something started in his heart, and God gave us free will to serve him. Yeah. Honor him and love him. And so even the angels had a choice to either follow God or not. And when he took the glory for himself and persuaded the other angels to praise him, it's kind of like how every artist stand on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really liked the times I kept falling and kept getting back up. This one time I fell, I surrendered.
Yeah.
And when I did that, conviction came. I knew what to get rid of. I was kind of fighting it because I'm like, well, I got these records, all these big people, but I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. we got it. When you are in the church and you are bred into that, you learn all those capabilities to the rises and falls and the melodies and all of that, how to stay in tune with the music, even when the drummer is going too fast, you just speed up, all of that stuff. But that's because that's what it was designed for. We have taken it and changed it so far that now nobody starting in the church, nobody really knows how to pull out the soul. Because when you sing in gospel music, you singing in the spirit. So the spirit starts to work through you. And then what happened is we keep, like I say, we manipulated what God intended for praise and worship in order to satisfy our own desires. Yeah. That's why, like I said, that's why it's so easy for artists to go into debauchery, because you know that Lucifer was the director of God's choir in the heavens. So that's why I say that he's the prince of the air. Satan is the prince of the air because sound waves can only move through air. Sound waves cannot move in space. There's no air for it to move through. So that's why he's the prince of the air, because the vocals that we have, that's how we communicate. That's how we praise and worship. That's how we sing. That's how we make music. And he uses that to turn us in all these other directions. Yeah. So now he got everything you need, because he ain't even got to pull you out of church because you ain't never went.
That's why everybody in the club. That's why when you listen to music and it like does something to you, moves you, because that same reason.
Music is designed to have an effect on you mentally and emotionally. That's why and I used to think, I remember when I was young, like 18, 19, when I was driving myself to church, I didn't have any issues with getting to church when praise and worship was already over, because I thought all I needed was the message. Yeah. Right? But the praise and worship, now that I know it better, and I mean, the message is just there to confirm what the Spirit has already been telling me through my own studies. Yeah. The praise and worship is the part that I go for now, because I get to be in the presence of God. I get to worship him for who he is and not what he's done. I get to worship him because he's amazing, because he's the reason that we woke up this morning. All of that stuff, but the praise and worship comes before the sermon or before the message, because it puts you in that mood to receive the Holy Spirit, to receive what the Holy Spirit is saying. So when you say all this, the R&B and the R&B that's got so distorted to where it's just talking about having sex, it's changing your mind and putting you in the mood of that.
I remember that song, which says "America in this room." My name, it got some put a praise on it. Yeah,
that's like, yes, that's the reason why. That's the reason why everybody was coming from the church, because that's the way it was supposed to stay. Yeah, it was supposed to stay in the church. And then even when we moved on over to R&B, because I believe, who was it? Somebody did a double album, and it was a gospel artist. He did a double album where it was one part of it was praise and worship, and the other part was a love album.
Like Lecrae?
No, it wasn't Lecrae. It was I think it might have been like Fred Hammond or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it was like literally gospel, and that's because
I know who you're talking about. Was it Winans?
I think one of them. Yeah. But it did a double album, and that's okay, because if you think about it, the Songs of Solomon was all about love. Yeah. That was a love story, and it was love songs and poems. So it's one thing if you're doing it in the love sense of the person you with. Yeah. And the person that hopefully you're married to. But I mean, I'm not judging nobody, because I did it with a bunch of people I wasn't married to, wasn't supposed to be. But anyway, but that's because it's supposed to do that. That's what I'm saying. JD is right. Yeah. But he's wrong, because he thinks that's the way it's supposed to be, so that people can come out of the church and be R&B artists.
That's where they used to go scout them.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they singing with the Holy Spirit, and they singing with their soul, and then you take that and manipulate that. to serve a different purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, fine. If that's the way R&B has to die because nobody's going to church, then so be it. R&B is dead because nobody goes to church. That's basically what he's saying, right? Nobody goes to church. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, anybody at church and anybody in relationships,
but apparently, they in the club.
They in the club. Because it helps her with her mood, right?
Yeah.
Gets her in the mood of not thinking about being divorced and a single mom with their kids. And is it 3 or 4 now? 3. I think it's 3.
Yes, 3.
Yeah.
3.
But
you only think 4 because she always has his other daughter. So
yeah. So she's...
Oh, Cardi, you keep going to the clubs and ain't you supposed to be with your baby? Well, I be with my baby all day. I need to go out. I'm going through a divorce right now. If I stay home and fucking depress myself, that's just gonna drive me crazy. That's why I'm working, and in the weekends I'm going out with my girls. So stop. I don't ever want to go through a fucking postpartum depression ever again, and I'm avoiding that. So,
well, you heard what she said. She do that in order to make sure that she can keep her sanity, or she with her kids all day. That just proves what we was talking about with JD. Like, the music helps you change your mind about what your current situation is.
But we use music for a lot of things. Like on Saturday, on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, when them church songs come in, and you got to get up and clean up.
Yeah.
So we use that.
Right, we use that.
Set the
so
mood.
That's a positive thing, though.
Yeah.
But you see in the video, she ain't singing no positive songs.
No.
So you're telling
it's positive for them.
But exactly. What you're telling me is, when you are feeling in that way, or you want to bring your spirits up, you go and listen to the same type of stuff that got you into the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to that stuff, like that stuff that you're singing, that you're rapping, and that you're singing along to, is the same type of stuff that your man's was doing, which is why you don't want to be with him.
Yeah.
So in order to stop the habit, you're feeding the habit. I mean, I don't see that doesn't make sense to me.
Have you ever got sad and just put on like a whole bunch of sad music to fit your mood?
No.
That's what a lot of people do.
That's what a lot of
I know,
especially a lot of women.
I have a playlist for that.
I don't know when you're mad at me because you go in the room, you play up that loud music. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like saying, I got cancer, so I need another cigarette.
Some people do that, though.
I know.
They might as well.
Might as well. Not might as well.
No, they do that. Like,
I know, but why? That's the point. Why do the might as well? Like, what are we doing?
Because you're already in it, so it's like another one ain't gonna hurt.
Actually, it will. It will hurt more. It would expedite the cancer. So for you to be in issues with life and kids and husband, and then going and feeding your soul and your mind with the same stuff that got you into that situation, it's going to expedite how worse things could get.
People get something off of that, though, because if you ever see somebody like in the sense of like you have to always like pity them. People come around them a lot more.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
People like that attention.
Right.
So they do certain stuff to attract
make themselves more pitiful.
Pain.
Yeah. Because, but
pain is addicting.
Yeah, but it just keeps you in a cycle. That's what I'm saying. If you have to, in order for us, and I say this all the time, but in order for us to learn or become something different, we have to become uncomfortable with what we already know to be true. So,
yeah. So, I mean, in that situation, you just have to go for what you know.
That's the problem. We keep going for what we know. How do you change anything?
It's hard. It's hard to make changes. Like you said, you have to be uncomfortable in order to make change. But in order to put yourself in that discomfort, you have to be okay with knowing that, okay, if this change it may take me out of the sewage of depression that I'm in. And it may not.
Yeah, but you said you have to be uncomfortable. It's not being uncomfortable with the change. It's we have to be uncomfortable with what we already believe to be true. Because she's operating in the cycle of, if I'm feeling down, feeling bad, I go to the club, that's going to get my spirits up.
Yeah.
So you're operating like that. You have to be uncomfortable with the fact that you've tried this before and it hasn't worked. So there has to be something different that actually needs to happen in order for you to get better results.
Yeah. And speaking about depression, we do have a clip to show in that. So.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go through it.
Yeah. But since we're gonna talk, let's talk about that right now.
Because every now and then you get a thought about, damn, I wonder what this person's doing. Act on it. Call them. Yeah. See how they doing, or just find some way to get in contact with them. It never hurts. You have no idea how much that could mean to them. Because I go through these bouts with certain.
Yeah. Do you still go through that?
Yeah. It never really goes away. It never really goes away. You have, like I said, I have bouts with it and things, and Dave saw that, and he just sent me a text message, beautiful text message.
Just love.
Yeah, and it was like it spoke to me, big time, and all I could put was all of this with a heart emoji. And I don't even give heart emojis, son, but yeah.
It felt good to know that somebody's thinking about you or your well-being or your health. I went through depression after my sister died, Pun died, my grandfather, same time.
I can only imagine.
So I was like 2 years straight going to therapists, and it could be a sunny day, it's dark outside. And what I try to tell people is...
Was it an aggressive type of depression?
No, I went through it.
Yeah.
Like, I never tried to kill myself or never even thought about that.
But I mean aggressive towards the ones around.
I was
aggressive.
I was just sleeping. I was sleeping in the bathtub with no water running.
Wow, yeah.
Looking up at the ceiling. Yeah. And I went to a therapist, and it took me 2 years of beating myself up. And so I tell people, you could be in a gang, you could be in anything. Somebody trying to kill you, just move to another state.
Another state, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you fighting your own brain, it's with you all the time. So you go to the island, you could be in the Fiji island with the bluest water, but you're still fighting that demon.
You are. But the illest one is when you do these displays as a cry for help, and people... Some see it and just feel like it's a facade, or I don't know how they take it, but there's a lot of times those people don't get help. I mean, in the bathtub, that's definitely cry for help right there.
I was bad,
yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir. You went to this display at that point in time. This is what I'm feeling.
And that's from
that
men.
Was heavy.
Yeah, and that's from men.
Yeah.
I mean, people need to not leave people alone, but that's her comfort right now. That maybe it's not a good comfort in going out to clubs.
I don't attach that. I don't attach that to Cardi.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I mean, she like she said, she's almost going through postpartum. She's going through divorce.
Yeah, that means you have to make
people
changes.
Need to let up on her.
No, I don't think that's what. So when I watch that, I don't see that giving people space to continue their spiral, because. What he said, what Method Man said was, Dave sent him a message. So that whole thing was to reach out to people, and tell them, that you care, give them some encouragement, not encourage them to go deeper down the drain.
What if that's something that helps them? Like, I understand. Like, trying to give them more like healthy stuff.
Yeah.
In order to like get out of their depression. But what if that is their comfort?
But what is
you take away from them?
Okay, here's the thing: is it their comfort if it's just comforting them to get back to the level that they were at, so they can do the same thing over again?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, because now you're stuck on a roller coaster, because you do these things and it gets you to where you're at, but then it causes you to act or make choices in this type of way, which brings you back down. And then once you get down to the bottom, now you got to bring yourself back up. So you got to do it again. And then you're just going up and down on a roller coaster. We have to recognize that if I'm in a situation where I've got these issues of depression, or I'm thinking, in these ways, I just don't feel right. And I talk about it in my book a little bit, but I call it bringing the jackhammer, right? There's some barriers that we face in life that we feel like we can't overcome. When that happens, the only way you get through a barrier is to bring something strong enough to knock that barrier down, to break the barrier down. And if that barrier is how you feel or your emotions, but that barrier was built up by the things that you're trying to do to tear it down, you're just building more walls. It's like, how do I break down a wall? By building another wall in the same manner that I built the first one.
Yeah.
No, you just make thicker walls. Thicker walls so thick that you know how they make soundproofing? They put more layers of the sheetrock in between that one section of wall to soundproof you. You can end up building so many walls after you consistently do the same thing to bring yourself back up that brought you to the point that you were down, where now nobody can even hear you. And now you really feel like you're alone.
That's deep.
Now you really feel like you're alone because you built more walls for the people that were trying to come help you, or were trying to give you some guidance in a better way. And now you feel like you're by yourself. Only thing to do is to end your life.
Yeah, because people will see you and think that you're functioning okay.
That's
because that's that person. That's how they manage. That person is getting along. They're fine. But they don't know that inside, like your head, you're battling yourself.
Yep.
It's hard.
Yeah. You have to do something different. It can't be the same. You're not going to get through anything doing the same thing. Got to be something different. Oh, that was heavy. And I wish I could have got that through to one of my best friends that I lost at the beginning of the year. But some people, like, you keep building those walls. How is anybody supposed to break through any of that to help you if you just put more walls up? But anyway, yeah. So back to relationships. That's our favorite topic anyway. So DDG explained his breakup, and he had this to say about it. Pretty interesting stuff.
If I can tell myself something at age 22, I would tell myself not to get in a relationship, because it's damn near like having a part-time job, bro. Yeah. You really have to apply a lot of time and effort. Like, you might be doing videos all day and your girl get an attitude when you're doing your last video, like, nigga, when you gonna take me out to eat? When you gonna take me to the movies? When we gonna go on a date? And then it causes relationship problems in your real life that can affect your content. You might get mad, get in an argument. You might not want to film the next day. You might not want to stream the next day. You might not want to go to the studio the next day. Whatever. Like, so I would tell myself, if I was 22, I would say, bro, just grind it out. Let a relationship happen. But only happen when you feel comfortable.
He's such a jerk. He's such a jerk.
A jerk?
Yeah.
Well, Joe Budden said something about that, right?
He did.
Let's see what Joe had to say before you just start cussing the man out, because why you got to start him off with a jerk though?
He is like who
black.
Who
no,
says
that's not
that?
youth
of
It's like, who says that, right?
Because that's the way he has to move.
and why am I supposed to care about his thoughts on anything? I'm very happy that they have broken up, so I don't get to keep seeing this name attached to this girl's name when I don't know him for nothing as a standalone. And for me, it's important to know people based off their own name and merit and what they have done. Every time I see his name, it's attached to hers, and it's typically in some type of clout chaser fashion. So that makes me look at him a different way, and hopefully I get to look at him a lot less now that they've broken.
Well, she's extremely she's high profile.
Very high profile and very talented.
And you saying her head game is trash, gonna go get their own account.
Yeah, we figure it out.
They're gonna go find out on their own, number one. And number two, if it was that trash, why you snatched that cherry so fast, my boy? I mean, if her head was as bad as you say, that cherry didn't levitate long before you got the is action DDG.
That's
I don't even know what that stands for.
What does DDG stand for? Daryl Dwayne Granberry.
What?
Yeah, your name Granberry. You know what my thing is with these that's on the rise and they want to go get with the chick with some notoriety that's also on the rise.
Salute, by the way.
Whenever that relationship fails, I never see them bounce back with something that's going to get Shorty upset. I normally never hear from them again in the dating realm. I don't think I'm going to ever hear about DDG and his next chick.
I'm on.
Well, his chick before her, you know who she is.
I don't.
Who?
Ruby. I'll talk your DDG.
Who was the chick before her? I'm afraid that we view that differently.
And there was a whole lot going on with her where she was doing clout chasey to their relationship.
Well, Ruby is a hustler and a business owner. Action DDG.
That's
I don't even know what that stands for. Who was the young lady before her?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what troubles me. That's what troubles me. Good luck, DDG. This will be your first and last time being mentioned on this broadcast for the rest of eternity. Who was the young lady before her?
I don't know.
So you pretty much got to say the same thing that that Joe got to say.
Yep. He wrapped it up, put a bow on it. Because this is the thing with people that like to clout chase and be popular and famous and I want to be a star. She's a good girl. She didn't deserve that.
With? Who was he with? I don't know.
Haley, the Little Mermaid.
Oh,
the new one.
Yeah,
the black one.
Yeah,
she's beautiful.
Yeah,
she could sing. Nobody knows her behind camera. Of course, we can't really speak or attest to her character.
Yeah,
but she seems like a very genuine girl. I mean, she's raised properly. She's never like disparaging their relationship or anybody else. She hid her pregnancy, right? And it looked like she's very like motherly. I don't think she deserved that type of relationship.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said the same thing. Like he shouldn't, if he knew he wasn't ready to like have a family, he shouldn't have went that far with her.
So she got a child?
Remember the Little Mermaid?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just don't be following people like that to know, like, she had a child.
Yeah.
With him?
Yeah. He's so cute. He's very cute. But to see their relationship come to this is sad.
Yeah.
Especially since they're so young.
That's true. And but so my goodness. So for one, okay, let me talk about Joe first, because I mean I know he probably ain't gonna see this, but when you say who is he with before, and then they say who he was with before, and then you were like, who was he with before that? It's like, but bro, you chasing the rabbit. You just want to identify that there was somebody that he was with that what nobody knows. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that have to do? We just saw you say who, like, there would be nobody else, but then they identify him being with somebody else that was actually coming up, and now you just say the same thing. So you should have been like, oh, I didn't know that, for one. So you're going to double down on that stupidity. But anyway, number two, the DDG, technically, DDG is right. He's right.
Wow.
Because, especially I don't want to sound chauvinistic or
I mean, I understand
toxic.
he's a young male.
Yes.
They sowing their oats.
No, not the sowing the oats part. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is where he's right, and he's right and therefore wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, in your early years, you need to be building.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for men, because what we talked about in one of our shorts is the man is always looked to provide and protect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be building. Here's the problem with us building. We're building and tearing down at the same time.
Exactly.
I'm talking about myself as well because I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was building, and what I was also doing was having frivolous relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm building myself while tearing down women, because here's the thing. A man that's building is very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to stay in a relationship. Because a man, especially when you're as slick as I was, I used to say, I'm just looking for somebody to be friends with, not looking for something serious.
So you let them know up front.
Right. And that was my out, which was still wrong because I knew that she was just going to see it as, oh, that means
I can persuade him.
Yeah. Exactly. So being a man, young man that's in school, building with goals, had a plan, all of that, and you read the book and you see how that all got ripped down and built back up again. But being that type of man was attractive to young women. I didn't have no game. When I start talking to you and you realize everything I'm trying to accomplish in life, you're like, oh, okay,
I like that.
I like that. Exactly. So, but when you do that, and then you be in a relationship with that person, and then you allow that to go on for so long that she starts getting comfortable, and then what happened with them, with DDG and Halle Bailey, is y'all got comfortable. You were trying to build. She was trying to build with you, and you got comfortable. She got comfortable. Now y'all have a child. Now you want to go build somewhere else. That's not how life works, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay where you at and build where you at because you decided to have a child. You started a family.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to be building your career, your goals, your life to where you wanted to be. Instead, you started building a family. Now you want to not be with that family. That's not how life works, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You knew, just like he said, DDG said, this is a part-time job.
Yeah.
It's like being in a relationship is like a part-time job. And now he's wrong in that one too. Because it's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job on top of the job that you already have in the world.
And that's why I said he is a jerk. Because he knows this stuff.
No, he don't.
He does.
That's what I'm saying. He don't know.
Because he said in that same interview, he was saying that he doesn't have no worries about his child because he know that Haley is a good mom.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is
he's gonna dump all the responsibility on her.
Okay.
While he out there finishing building and chasing his dreams.
Because he's a child.
Mm-hmm.
He's a child in the sense of processing what a man is supposed to be. Because yes, a man is supposed to protect and provide.
Yeah.
But he's also supposed to be knowledgeable and be willing to sacrifice for his family and his child.
Mm-hmm.
If you are willing to sacrifice your child's success and happiness so that you can go keep running off while the mom takes care of everything, we still have to recognize that people don't fully mature mentally until 25.
Yeah.
And now there's some studies that say men don't mature fully until 27.
Goodness.
And that's what I use as my excuse to say that what I did that was dumb wasn't my fault because I wasn't 27 yet. That's my excuse. That's what I'm sticking with. But no, so he is immature in that sense that he doesn't fully understand or he hasn't fully processed it, or mentally he's not capable of processing that. And that's the problem that we have, because we understand that we need to build, but we don't understand that once we start building a family, that's part of what we building on.
Yeah, that's like 10 more years on your life. You might
What do you mean by that?
Like when you have a child,
kind of.
Yeah, you add like 10 years on your life.
Oh, to live longer? Yeah, that's one of them studies, huh?
To live longer?
Yeah, having a family. Unless you got a baby mama that's making your life
Make your
hell,
life short.
then it adds 10, but the baby mama takes 15. So now you negative 5 years. But yeah, he's right that we're supposed to build, but the problem is we don't do that.
He's not doing it the right way.
None of us do. I mean, most of us don't. Not none of us, but most of us don't.
Right.
We try to build and have a relationship where we get everything out of that relationship that we want until we become too comfortable and we have a child.
Milking a cow.
I guess. I ain't never heard that term used in that way.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah, all the milk.
Yeah. Why would he marry you if you're giving a cow away? Why would he marry buy the cow if you're giving the milk away for free? But I'm talking about, and that's true. We both saying the same thing. But I'm just saying, and I just wanted to just hit it again. You have to recognize that yes, you should be building as a man, but you cannot build as a man and still have unprotected sex with a woman and think that you don't owe something to that child that she had with you.
Yep.
You are no longer you.
You're basically leaving your seed
You are
there.
us.
Yep.
And if you, and that's another part, the seed part. That's you hit on the head of it. What am I building for? As a man, what am I building for if I'm not building it for the success of my children?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you here for? Literally, like, what are you doing if you're not building for your legacy? Why? Why are you even here? Like, what? So if you build it for your legacy, why would you have a child with someone and not make sure everything is successful for that child?
Yeah.
Because that's what that's literally what life is about.
Building for your future.
Exactly.
Your children's
For the
future.
next generation and the generation, three generations down. But, yeah, but I still don't like the way Joe said it. Like, you don't.
He always negative.
He's negative, right?
He's
You're
negative
negative
Nancy.
Nancy. It's hater. Because you gotta acknowledge, bruh, how you don't acknowledge that kid is exactly the same as you were when you were his age.
Yeah.
Like, what? No. Like, can we make that make sense? Anyway, so this one is actually, now that I think about it, the opposite of what DDG is saying is talked about right here.
You are single until you are married. I know you ain't never heard that before, but you're going to hear it today. Okay? This philosophy I want you to adopt that I tell young women. I am not 100 guys' girlfriend. I am one man's wife. All right? Do not get duped by the girlfriend trap. I'm not saying if a relationship is part of the journey to the altar, don't be in one. I'm just saying that even when you are in a relationship, know that you are one man's wife. And hey, if this doesn't work out, my husband could still be out there waiting for me. I don't have to be in a relationship for 10 years. And even after the relationship is over, I don't have to take 10 years to heal because I'm essentially living like a widow and my heart is still tied to someone and I am part of his harem. I have now become his concubine if I don't move things forward. You are single, okay? So even when you are in a relationship with a man, make sure that you have your risk management strategy. Wives do not stay. Women who have a wife mentality, who are wives and position as wives, they do not sit around in long-term relationships that is not leading to marriage and the man is still sitting there just like, oh, well, he's just taking what he can get. We don't give our hearts to men for free 99. We can't even get their last name. Hello? So even if you're in a relationship or you're dating one particular man, do not tie your heart to him unless if that man has said, hey, I am your husband and I do. If he has not said I do and I agree to the terms and conditions of marrying you and having you as my wife, you are single. Hello? Sheesh.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. You just said us.
Right.
Nah, she right.
Yeah, she's right.
Really? Why is she right, Chris?
Because if you are a single woman and you dating somebody, you are single.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he lock it down and say, I want to marry you. Right? And then y'all go to the altar. Y'all marry in a church. Church, beach, wherever. But until y'all share the same last name, you single. I'm not going to treat you like you're my husband if we haven't said that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know why? But here's the reason why I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Is because that part where she said you have to have a strategy, right?
Yeah.
Here's the strategy part.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what having a strategy in a relationship that has not come to marriage yet is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna have unprotected sex with you.
Yeah.
Because you haven't put a ring on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not willing to risk having unprotected sex with you
and getting locked
down while you, like DDG, go off into the sunset. No, because guess what? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? Like, why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because I don't want to say what I was going to say.
You know what happens?
I don't want to say what I was going to say.
People get too comfortable. So you get comfortable and it's like, it becomes like your norm. Like, and then next thing you know, y'all stop using protection and then y'all doing stuff more often. Y'all hanging out more often. You have to let those things go.
Mm-hmm.
Just like she said, you have to have a strategy when you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
If this relationship isn't moving towards my destination, it's just like using a GPS. I'm not gonna keep continuing on this path if the end of the line ain't gonna get me to where I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to know when to cut it off.
Yeah, I mean, that's all facts. But what if I get lonely? I get lonely. That's the problem. That's
lonely.
Okay.
You gotta
really,
fill that space up.
I could say that better. What I didn't want to say, I've just found a better way to say it, and it's the problem is what happens when I end this relationship. Now I'm by myself again.
It's lonely.
It's lonely.
That's lit. But
it's lonely.
You know what you do? You fill that space up with other things. Like that's why when men listen. That's why when men break up,
the empty space up with other things.
Yes.
How many inches is that? What color?
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's not what we're talking about. My bad. That's what I'm like. You filling it up with other things.
Well, you can do that too. If you need, if you need to take care of yourself, get your little box with the lock on it.
See.
For nighttime.
But
your guilty pleasure, whatever.
It gets lonely, and it gets that, and that's how it always happens. It's like, okay, I've been single for this many months.
Mm-hmm.
I've healed.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to get back out there, but when I get back out there, what I want, I don't see. So I accept what is there
until the thing you want coming along.
Right. But now I'm in this relationship and I've become it's like when you get that that first car and you can't really afford the nicest stuff because you're like 16. You got it. But now you finish college and you can get the car that you want, but that car that you have has sentimental value.
Yeah.
Right? You started to develop sentimental value for the person that you accepted because that was what was available. And now you started getting comfortable. Like you said, you started getting comfortable. And as I get comfortable, we have later nights. Some nights I sleep over. Some nights I don't. The nights that I sleep over, sometimes I sleep over more often. And then we stop using protection. And now we're in the predicament that I didn't want to be in from the beginning. That's what I didn't accept from the first guy that I left.
Yeah.
But then I got lonely.
people got to think of using protection as protecting your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want your heart to be destroyed, mismanaged, or just being in a terrible predicament, use protection. It protects you.
The contraceptives. But, and why would I do that if I can just go to the clinic? That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
We're not going to get up on that one today. Not today.
No one.
But we will talk about something else. Anyway, what do you think, though? Let us know in the comments. What do you think about what we've been talking about so far? Depression, gospel music, and R&B, and these relationships. I heard it's piss in the pool, so that's why we're talking about it, right?
Yep.
But another thing on... Is this one about relationships or just men in general? We'll see.
Live multiple times, and I thought it's time I bring it to video to reach a wider audience, because this is a question I have for a lot of black men and African men, and I think it's time we start to answer these questions. And before all you red pill bros come at me, don't. I'm just not the type of person to dwell on the perceived flaws of our women without focusing on ours. I pay attention to both sides. And if you know me, I'm not a panderer. I'm definitely not someone to pander to or try to defend people who are abort black boys, calling me a bullet. No, if you know me, know who I am, the kind of family I come from, the kind of culture I come from, a tremendous self-respect. I'm not one to defend people who have known for hating me. This is not about black women. This is about black men. But I need you to answer this question. Are you ready? Now here goes. I want you to picture a scenario, right? Picture a scenario where a bunch of women are all hanging out. There's a white woman, regular white woman. There's a Jewish woman. There's an Arab woman. There's a Chinese woman. There's an Indian woman. There's a Mexican woman, a Filipina, a Black American, and an African woman. So that makes 9 women hanging around, chilling, just drinking, enjoying the day. And then out of nowhere, conversation starts getting a little spicy. The spice levels starts going up. And then out of nowhere, the white woman just gets up and is like, you know what? Y'all not going to do this with me. I'm white. Our men control governments. You're not going to play with me. Everyone's like, what? The Chinese woman gets up and is like, first of all, I'm a Chinese woman. Our men run construction. Our men run manufacturing. If you want to build anything in this world, you need a Chinese man. So watch what you say to me. Everyone's like, okay. And then the Indian girl gets up and is like, first of all, I'm Indian. Our men run tech. If you want tech and if you want anything to work on your phone, you want your laptop, anything to run, you need Indian men. Don't mess with me. Everyone's like, okay. The Mexican woman gets up. She's like, Los Tigres del Nortes. Don't fuck with me. If you need a roof over your head, our men run construction. Don't play with me. Mexican men run construction. You play with me, I'm a holla at Jose, and it's over for you. Everyone's like, okay. The Jewish woman's like, I know you all don't keep your money under your bed, so as long as you got in the bank, watch what you say. Everyone's like, ooh, okay. The Arab woman is like, well, I'm sure you all need gas. Arab men, we run, we control oil. That's us. Don't play with us. Everyone's like, okay, Arab girl. The Filipina is like, okay, I see what you're doing. Well, me and my girls, we have totally taken over the nursing industry. And have you noticed something? Our men are slowly taking over. In 10 years, none of you bitches can get a vaccine without a Filipino man, and we will all be housewives. So checkmate. Everyone's like, oh, okay. So black men, in this scenario, what have we given black women and African women to brag about or clap back about? Like, what have we given our women to brag about? What aspect of this world, what industry, what important part of infrastructure in this world do black men control? African men, the entire continent of Africa that belongs to us, what part of it do we control? That's my question. What do we control? And also, before you guys come at me, I know you red pill niggas again. Y'all gonna come at me on some, oh, we out earn Latino men, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Do you remember Ron DeSantis a couple years ago, was it 2 years ago, talking all of that shit about Latino men? Did you see what happened? I could just picture the scenario. Hector gets his phone, picks up the phone, calls Jose, is like, yo, Jose, hey, fool, you want to go somewhere? You want to go on a vacation or something? It was like, for vacation? You crazy fool? I got work to... I see what yeah, let's go on that vacation. The Mexican community, the Latino community say, you know what? You want to play with us? We're not going to work. It took 3 days. Ron DeSantis came back out and literally apologized. And it's not spoken about. That is what destroyed his entire political, like that is what destroyed his drive, his up, whatever the hell you want to call it, as a politician. Because he came out hardcore racist and was put in a position where he was forced to apologize to those people. That was it. Ron DeSantis is over. Trump could not pick him. It was over for him. Every group of men in this country, or wherever you want to call it, they have an aspect, an important aspect of society that they control. Black men, what do we control? I'm not talking about our earnings. Yes, when you go look at earnings, black men, we do good. Regardless of what people say about us, the data shows we're doing amazing. But as a collective, what do we control? Music? Nope. Jewish men control that. Unlucky enough for a lot of you, we don't live in a world where you could just go walk up to a woman and take what you want. So the sexual prowess that we're known for, we're only known for it because the people who control it, women, give us access to it. What do we control, black men? I think this is a valid question. And my suggestion, I'm no voice, I'm nothing. My suggestion would be, let's take over the garbage industry. Let's control America's trash. In New York, I don't know about any other way. In New York City, do you know what it costs? At least in my neighborhood, do you know what it will cost to start a recycling business? $25,000, and that's on the higher end. $25,000 to start a recycling business. There's so many brothers in trash. Excuse my choice of words, but there's so many brothers in trash that make good money. Why can't we come together collectively? Why can't we? Imagine an America where black men control trash. We control the trash industry in America. Someone comes out and talks to black men, and we're like, oh, that's how it's going to be? Okay. And for 1 week, America's trash is not picked up. What do you think will happen then? I think every single politician will come out, get on his knees and beg us. Because do you understand how quickly a politician will get voted out if their neighborhood starts to stink? But yeah, it's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves as black men. What do we control? And those of you who do things for women, what have we given our women to brag about? What have we given our women to clap back? Y'all could say all this, oh, we out-earn Mexican men, we out-earn them. Okay, we out-earn them, our women out-earn them. The women can clap back and say, if you want a roof over your head, I need you to shut the fuck up.
Oh, he brought up some very valid points.
Really?
Yeah. And it's interesting for him to choose like the disposal. Yeah. Disposal. But yeah, he brought up some valid points. What do black men offer?
So
you have the floor.
Most black men, I'm not gonna say most, a lot would say we control culture.
Culture?
Culture.
But we don't control, they don't control that though.
I mean, we do more now with having more control of our music rights.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, but men don't control. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the actual valid answer. Honestly, it's not a valid answer. But that's the thing. That's the only thing that I believe that we would be able to say is we control culture.
Yeah.
But then black women do that too, though. So it's more of a black community thing about culture.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that actually bring us? Nothing.
Okay.
We can always say, "Oh, they imitate us." Well, they imitate us, but what do we get from the entertainment? We don't get anything. Like it's not like, okay, every white woman that gets a BBL, black people get a percentage of it because they're mimicking us. No, they don't. We don't get anything from it. So all we get is bragging rights. Bragging rights don't get you nothing. Don't get you nowhere. Don't get you no power, no control. Here's the problem, though. The problem is you cannot, and a lot of times, and this is what anybody educated would say. You cannot bring up the issue without recognizing the reason behind it.
Yeah.
Because we have been systematically prevented from being able to control anything since England started expanding and colonizing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't just do it to the slaves over here in the Americas. They did it to all of Africa as well. They took the land, they colonized it, they took all the resources, controlled it, got everything they could out of it, and then was like, okay, now you can have your Dust Bowl back.
Yeah.
So we have been in America systematically prevented from climbing ourselves up out of the hole that was dug and they throw us in. And then every time we try to climb out for the 100 years after slavery was ended, we were still hung from a tree if we did not get off the sidewalk when the white man was walking past. If we lifted our head up from a white man talking to us, if we whistled at a white woman, if we did not whistle but they thought we did. They burned down our communities. So what we wanted to control, where we could have controlled, was stolen from us again.
Yeah.
So you cannot just say, what do we control, without, you have to put both of those together. You have to say that. And if you don't recognize it, then you are gaslighting, for one.
Yeah.
And you're either ignorant or disingenuous to not attribute or add to that the fact that we tried and it was ripped away from us. They're just now, they have just now in the DOJ decided to bring federal investigation towards the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre.
And that's major because
just now, I'm talking about like in the last week.
Yeah. You know how many people, like how many black people were murdered back in the day? Their murders are unsolved. There's people who are missing like headstones. People who are just missing and nobody know what happened to them. Black people never got the justice for that at all.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, we still have to answer the question, what can we do moving forward? What can black men give to us to say, hey, we have this?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And he's not right that we should be controlling something, but you cannot say, you cannot, because what he's doing is he's throwing a rock and hiding his hand. Because you're throwing the rock without saying the fact that this is how we got to this point.
I think he's just mainly just putting a flashlight on it.
You cannot put the flashlight on it without addressing, because what you're doing is you're not addressing the trauma that we have. If you don't address the trauma, don't talk about the results of the trauma. Don't tell me that I ain't did nothing if I've been beaten down to not do anything.
Yeah.
You can't, so what he's doing, here's what he's doing. He's literally recognizing that the black man is down, right? Beaten, battered, and bruised, right? And instead of coming over and saying, are you okay? He's saying, you just gonna lay it on the ground? If you see somebody get they tail whooped and they laying on the sidewalk, are you gonna walk over to them laying on the sidewalk, beaten, broken, and battered, on his literally broken, and go, bruh, get up. What you doing? That's what he just did in that video.
I can see your point. I could definitely see your point. But
okay,
and I understand addressing like the past and everything that you went through to understand how you got to this point.
Yeah.
But we still have to get away from being disparaged and
right for
being
sure
held under.
But don't make a 7-minute video. Do not make a 7-minute and 46-second video and not mention any of that.
Yeah. Well, he was wrong in not mentioning that. But how are we it's just like the water going over our head. How are you getting up from under there?
Yeah. Oh,
you have to.
I mean, first you could look at my book, buy the book when it comes out spring of next year. But other than that, we have to start with like our own apostle was saying at church. You got to start with a plan.
Yeah.
You have to start. Well, first you got to start with a goal.
Yeah. Well, he was saying,
and even before that,
the disposal.
Yeah, the disposal.
I don't think so.
No, for one, those are contracts. So when you talk about doing disposal, you have to get those contracts, which are also controlled by the people that he said run the government. So how do you fix that part first? Because they will own the contracts and also pay the black men to pick up the trash.
Yes, and that's just what I was about to say. Whenever I see like what do you call them, garbage men?
Yeah, it's always black people.
It's always white people.
Black men.
I've never seen like Hispanic or
right.
I've never ever seen a Chinese garbage man ever.
Cause I haven't either.
Chinese, Indian, no.
Like that him doing this video aggravates me because you don't say we should run trash and not recognize like, hey, trash pickup is done by contract.
Yeah.
Which is actually paid by cities, which is paid by property taxes, which means you have to be in a city that is, or a county that has that contracted to somebody, because a lot of times it's a county run system. So you can't be picking up trash just going around say, hey, I pick up your trash with this such and such when the county runs that.
Yeah.
And if it's the city that runs that, then the city still goes through budgeting and contracts, and you do a bid for that contract, and the contract gets paid down to the company with the least bid if it's not already given out to somebody that they know.
Yeah.
Or that the mayor knows. Stuff like that. All of that, you don't just walk into a city and be like, we're going to take over the trash.
At all.
What are you talking about? So you need to have a better, if you're going to introduce what we should do, introduce it better than that. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Introduce it better. Say, hey, we can get this grant from this company, or we can get this contract based off of this. See it in the comments, something. Don't just present the problem
and have
not even a half solution.
Yeah.
That's like a tenth of a solution.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But I do have an insert to put. Now, when it comes to black companies, we are a black company.
Yes.
We do black press. We do printing. We do T-shirts. We do everything.
And if you do see this, if you've gotten this far, look, thank you for one. Yeah. Hit the like button, send us a message, or make a comment. But send us an email or send this piece of this video to whoever you know that is black that owns a business, and we're going to create something. I've got something in the works, but we're going to create something where we can build each other up. So if you own a black business, or if you know somebody that owns a black business, send this to them. Send us an email at weareblackpress@gmail.com, and we are going to build something that actually allows us to rise up like this young man was saying. I just wish you would have said it better.
Yes. And then also in the comments, just let us know what you think.
Yep.
especially if you are of the melanin, let us know, how are you building up our community? What are you doing? Or what actions do you think need to take place in order to get us to that next level?
And then one more point on what he said. I will add something to what he did say though.
Yeah.
So when the black men that are making more money than either black women or than the Hispanics or whatever you want to say, those black men that are successful should actually be doing more. Because if you're successful and you're not teaching anybody else how to be successful, then how is that going to progress our community?
You know, I hate to bring it up, but that's why I'm so disappointed in Diddy. Because he was there. He was our black mogul.
But Diddy was doing everything for himself.
No, but he was helping. He was helping. Now he was in the black community helping.
Freddie P. When Freddie P said nobody, remember when Freddie P was saying that Jay-Z's got millionaires that he helped create. P. Diddy ain't created one millionaire.
They looking at millionaire status as being famous like Rihanna and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Diddy has been helping the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He put people on. He's not at that level without having people under him that's working for him. So
yeah, but are they
he's
making
brought
money?
people up.
Are they making money? Like real money?
They have to be. They're just not seen in the foreground like everybody else because they're not at that level. Your talents will take you so far.
Cause I don't know, because I think more like the stuff what he did, like I don't see a structure that he has that actually builds people up. Sean John,
he needs a bodyguard.
That's little stuff. I'm talking about building.
It's not little. He needs a bodyguard. There's positions for that.
Have you heard the bodyguard interviews?
But he beat his.
What are you talking about?
No, but I'm saying
I'm
saying he creates.
Well, let me say my point.
Right?
Okay, Sean John was probably outsourced all of the clothing manufacturing. Right? DeLeon, he was only a partner, so the company that he was partnered with was making it, and he was being the face. Therefore, he was the only one getting paid from that. Ciroc, he was only a partner in that, so he was getting a percentage. He wasn't making it. He wasn't creating it. So therefore, he was just the face of it. So he was getting paid for being the brand. But nobody other than the immediate assistant or whoever, who he was probably a thought to, they're not being, nobody else is getting the money that he's making just off him being a brand ambassador. All he has to do is be him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is, but I don't see anything that he's built where there are a structure of, hundreds or thousands of people
like
that have
like companies.
like a company. I don't see that.
Well, it's not seen, so we don't know.
I don't know,
but
I don't think he. Based off of everything we know about him, he ain't really about actually putting people on to success.
That's true.
And that's why you end up how you are. If you built your entire empire on the backs or the backsides of somebody else, then that's what you're building. You're building what is going to bury you.
He had 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Building a pyramid.
Somebody.
That's what he did.
Some people.
That's why it is for that Illuminati thing too. He built the pyramid for him to be buried in.
I don't know about that, but
I mean, he built a large empire of his own structure.
Yeah.
For him, just to try to carry everything to the hell with him, and now you're getting buried in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just made that up. I like it.
I reckon.
Anyway, we talked long enough. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Share this with somebody if you liked any of it.
And don't forget to hit us up on the email if you are interested in advertising, editing, we have some courses that we are going to introduce at a later time. So with that being said, I am your girl Trish.
I'm your brother.
And we are
Black Press.